Hey everybody! I'm just waiting for it all to click into place here on Facebook and for Facebook Live to be ready to work. So, today we're going to talk about September and October. Today is October 2nd. I haven't changed the calendar yet. What's wrong with me? Or aren't we trying to get through 2020 as fast as we can? Um, we're going to take a few minutes in here today, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We're going to take a few minutes in here today to look at September and think about October. Um, every time we do this, we do it a little differently, but the moving parts are the same. It's about taking a really strong look at where you've been, because evaluating is the part of business we hate to do, but the thing that does the most for us, truly. And then having a plan matters. So, in any case, oh, hi, Mel. I'm glad you're here. So, in any case, I think that if you're growing in a business, if you're evaluating and planning and just continuing that cycle and over and over and over again, things get better. It's just the nature of evaluating and planning. That's all there is. So let's start with thinking about September. And what I'd really like to do is take a very simple approach. So what I've been walking around this morning thinking about this as the glass half full evaluation. And here's why I say this. We are all exceptionally good at telling ourselves all the things we haven't done right. We just are. Human beings are great at being like, you suck at everything. That's okay. What I think really matters is taking what we're doing well and leveraging that into our new month. So, if you think about your evaluation of September from the glass half full approach, what was good in September? Think about what went well. Because truly, even if all the things went wrong, really, is it possible that all the things went wrong? And I know there are people in here that have challenges. I know we all have had challenges. Hell, September was quite a month here. August was killer, September was an adventure. They're all an adventure. But that doesn't mean there aren't things that went well. And keep in mind that even if you set a goal for this month that you didn't reach, we're going to take the glass half full approach to it. Because when you look at the numbers, you didn't go nowhere. You increased followers, you were more consistent. I love that. Consistent is my word of the month. You were consistent. You had good. Maybe it translated into dollars, maybe it didn't. But no matter where you look at it, you have things that you should be proud of, that you should feel good about. You had moments that made you feel like, oh, you know what? That's amazing. I had a client earlier this week tell me that she recently did something in her business she'd never done before. And when we talked about it, what it came down to was basically she stood her ground. And if that is the best thing you did this month for you, you stood your ground and you held the boundaries you were trying to set with people, freaking amazing. That's great, especially if that's hard for you. For me, I would say the thing I'm most proud of this month is I tend to have a lot of thoughts about time. I tend to have a lot of thoughts about, do I have enough time? Am I using my time well? Am I overwhelmed? Am I not overwhelmed? Am I all these things? And I decided at the beginning of September that every time I started that, I would cut it off and think, nope, you're good. And I did. And I will tell you, my kids were off from school this past Monday. My husband was not here. I had calls all day. And at no point did I panic. At no point did I think, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to do this. At no point did I, freak out over it. It's such a nice change of pace. But that's the thing I'm most proud of this month, that I really decided to not fall victim to my own crazy about time anymore And I didn't like mostly. It wasn't perfect. It's never going to be perfect. But it was way, way better than it's been. So as you think about September, what was really the thing that you were like, oh, okay, I'm really proud of that? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be $1,000,000. It doesn't have to be 5 new clients. It doesn't have to be meeting your goal. And the other thing I want you to think about is meeting your goal is whatever you want it to be. Like, I actually sat down this morning. I signed a new client yesterday. And I sat down this morning and decided whether I was going to count her in October or September. Now, I signed her October 1st. But, like, I did part of the work in September. So, like, I could justify it either way. Which total did I want her counted in when I did my numbers? Guess what? I own the business. I do whatever the heck I want. And so I decided she was going to be in October. It meant that the income and the goal I set for September, I fell a little short of. But, like, okay, she's there either way. She still counts. But I decided I'm going to capture all of that this month. You choose. I could have easily decided September. I've done it before. I have somebody I signed in August that I counted as September because that's what she paid. But, like, do what you want to do. It's your goal. It's your business. Guess what? You decide. So decide. Count how you want to count. It is useful. You know that I have a math person in me. It is useful to look at numbers once a month or so. Like, do you feel like, have you gained followers? Have you gained connections? For me, I don't count followers so much as connections. Have you gained connections on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on whatever it is the platform you're on? Have you reached out to more people? Like, I went to 3 networking events last month. I had coffee chats from networking events with 5 people. I did 3 like live kinds of trainings. I pitched a podcast. I'm pitching another one next week. Like, those are things that have been on my radar that I didn't necessarily do the month before, but I did in September. So, like, what are those things that you're going to count as wins? What kinds of things are there? And then what I would think about is, as you look at these numbers and you think like, oh yeah, I did that. What were you thinking when you did all these good things? Because really, ultimately, the thoughts we want to carry into October are the ones that were worth our time and our energy. They're the ones that helped us be proud of ourselves, that we did the good thing, that we got halfway there. The ones that were like, oh crap, you're terrible at this, I don't want to take that to October. Nah. I want to take the ones that helped me. And I'll give you a couple examples of mine. I get my little yellow book. So, like, this morning, I sat down and wrote some of mine. One of them was impossible is an opinion. Like, that really helped me in September to think impossible is an opinion. Oh, I want to keep that one in October. One of the other ones that really has changed things for me is that I can love my full plate life. It's okay for me to love it and for other people to think I'm bananas. I can love what I do, all of the different things, and that's okay. That's a thought that really served me. My other one that is on this list is I can control my thoughts about time. Being overwhelmed is a choice. That helped me a ton this month. And so you had things that you were thinking when things were going well. What were they? What helped you? Because if we can find them, we can keep them, right? And it's not the like, oh, maybe it'll work. Like, no wishy-washy. Stuff that you really found useful or that you read somewhere where you were like, yes, that. We gotta capture those. Because those are the ones that really help us all to keep doing the next thing. Because the reason we evaluate and we look at what's good and we look at what we were thinking is so we can continue the trends next month, right? So think back, look back in your journal, look back in your notes. I know you might not be a journal writer, but you know what? I might convert you, or I might send you to someone who will convert you. Because as much as I am a reluctant journal writer, I'll tell you it makes a tremendous difference for my business. It makes a tremendous difference in the pace at which I learn in my business because it's all captured. Luna, Lou, she's in the bathroom trash. Puppies. I explained my business during a new training and had some great feedback. More connections, yes. And so, like, Melanie, what you got out of this past month was a great experience making connections. And now you want to do more of them. Like, that's great. It's a great thing to have in your pocket and think, like, oh, yeah, that wasn't so bad. I really enjoyed that on some level. Like, that's a lovely thing. I have loved all the new connections I made. I have decided that I just enjoy people more and more. And that's really served me. So, as you are thinking, this is not to say we're only ever going to look at what's good. I am sure if you sit down and you think about it, there are things that you want to do that you would have done differently. So that's another question to ask yourself. Like, what will you do differently next month? What do you want to change? It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I did that all wrong. But there are a lot of times where you think like, okay, that was the right idea, but I gotta change how much time I spend on it. I gotta change, how often I do it. I gotta change who I'm talking to about it. It's okay to think in that evaluation and have some, critical thoughts, some critical thinking going on. Not critical in like you're a horrible person way, but critical in terms of like thoughtful. To have some thoughtful suggestions for yourself about like, what am I going to do differently next month? I know for me, one of the things that I am choosing that came out for me is that I am really committed to my goal, I find, but I'm not always as committed, like I don't always believe and focus on the actions underneath those goals as clearly. I realized that I'm doing it backwards. So I'm really working on committing to the goal, but I'm not necessarily committing to the actions that it will take to get me there. I've missed a step. And sometimes we do that, right? Where you sort of look at it back and you're like, oh, I forgot to do the thing underneath the thing. Oops. Like I missed the mark a little bit. And that's part of what I've been missing. So when I looked at do differently this month, what I'm going to really do is think harder about how I want to focus on the actions. So Melanie, you're consistent with posting, but you want to do more. Like more than once a day is really where you want to go. Sorry, dog eating blanket. She just looked at me like, what? Why are you looking at me? Okay. So now let's lean into October. In October, thinking about what's been really good, what you're proud of, what you want to do differently. What's the one goal you have for the month? Think about it in terms of an accomplishment. On Halloween, what do you want to have accomplished? Oh, that's not how you spell that. Pardon me. So I get for talking while I write. So think about it as a verb. Like, what have you accomplished on October 31st? For me, I want to have signed, I have the same goal often you see, like, I want to have signed 4 new clients. And at the end of forenoon, that's going to be pretty much all the room I have. Just crazy. Don't put me at 14. So I want to sign, that's what I want to have accomplished at the end of this month. If you think about what your goal is, it should be really simple for you to say. It should be really clear to understand. When you can make it quantitative, make it quantitative. Like, don't tell me you want to do more of something. Don't tell me you'd like to do something better. Like, use actual descriptors, like real descriptors. Because if somebody says to you, like, well, I want to be more consistent. Well, in what way? More consistent Do you want to go from posting once a day to posting twice a day? Do you want to make an offer every day? Do you want to, what is it that consistency is made out of? So for me, it's 4 new clients. Fine. Everybody's going to have something different. Then, as you know, we got to think about like the actions that get us there. And this is the thing I want you to think a little differently about this month. So for me, for example, one of the actions is that I have to have one-on-one intro conversations. And I want to have 10 of them. And what I'm going to do differently this month, back to do differently, is I'm going to focus right there on those 10 conversations. I'm not going to focus on these 4 people. I'm going to focus on the 10. I think what I had lost track of is this step. I was focusing on my new people, and I was skipping the whole, like, I have to meet them first in my head. We all do stuff like that. I'm perfectly okay owning that. It doesn't mean I signed 2 new people and re-signed someone else in October, September. So, like, my goal was 4, I got 3. Great. But I would have done better, I think, possibly. This is an evaluation and then we experiment. If I had focused on those one-on-one conversations, on those introductory conversations. So that's what I'm going to do this month. What are you going to do this month? What is the goal? And what are the actions underneath it? And what one action that gets you to that goal are you going to focus on? Like, and truly commit to. So this is the thing, this working on these conversations is the thing I'm going to commit to consistently. And that's the question you're going to ask yourself. What are you going to commit to consistently to get your goal? Right? You have this result-oriented goal, whatever happens to be. X number of new clients, X numbers of books sold, X numbers of new patients, maybe a certain number of new networking conversations and connections, a certain number of posts. So I will say that posts are a vehicle more than a goal, right? You're posting to get people to do something. What is that thing? So posting is an action rather than a goal. And networking is to a degree also, but sometimes the hurdle is so big for people with networking, it can become its own goal, and that's okay. It's an opportunity to connect with more human beings. So when you have your goal, think about the most important action you can take to get it. It might be more connecting. It might be more posting. It might be, sharing differently. It might be a different platform. It might be all kinds of things. But whatever it is, what are you going to do consistently? Lena's going to participate in this portion of the meeting and probably chew on it a little bit. So, how committed can you be to this action? Because what I think I learned this past month is the more consistently you commit to the action, you're like, no, I'm going to do that super well every day. Then the rest of it just comes, right? It's like, I want to lose weight. Well, if I want to lose weight, there are lots of ways for me to get there. I can eat better. I can exercise more. I can walk, I can run, I can bike, I can swim, I can do jumping jacks, I can do whatever it is. I can run around with the dog and play squeaky ball. But I have to do whatever those things are consistently. I can't just eat well today. And that's not going to happen today because Friday is pizza night. So pizza night is sacred. But I can make better choices the rest of the week and then really amp up the exercise in whatever version of that I'm going to do, whatever vehicle. But I can't do it once. I can't make an offer about coming to an initial one-on-one conversation today and never again and just be like, Come on, people, take the offer. Like, that's not going to do it. And often when I talk to clients, I say to them, okay, well, how many offers did you make? And they're like, 1, 3 weeks ago. Well, it's part of the problem, friends. What you do consistently is what will grow. When you put a plant in the garden and you then ignore it for a month, it dies. You gotta water them. You gotta give them love, like this. You gotta love the puppy. So, whatever it is you're gonna do consistently. So, if you're watching this, think about, still working on my one main goal for October. Mel, what do you want to, what is the ultimate thing you want to accomplish? I mean, I would think it's about having more people come to your events, maybe, right? A certain number of people at a certain number of events, maybe? I don't know. I know a little bit. I know enough about what you're doing to be dangerous right now. But it could be just straight like doing 4 networking events and introducing yourself confidently every time and then connecting with those people after the fact. Maybe that's enough for the moment. So whatever it is, whatever you decide, keep it simple and then choose the action. I'm going to encourage you to pick one, but you can pick more than one. I would say this though, when you pick 3 or 4 or 5, it becomes really hard to commit to doing them all consistently. That's the trick here. We're trying to commit to consistently doing something differently. And if you change everything, it just becomes like a holy crap, I can't do all this, right? So the fewer moving parts you're going to create for yourself, the better everything is going to go. What can you do consistently? And then the last thing I will say is, if you were to step back for just a minute and stand in the shoes of the been there, done that version of you, what would she say? Like, what would that been there, done that, a year from now, 2 years from now version of you, what would she say about the action you're taking? Events have not been attended well, so I'm reevaluating them. So do you want to reevaluate the events, Mel, or do you want to reevaluate what you're doing with them, or how you're promoting them, or what kinds of things they're about? It could be less the events and more feeling like they're not working, I wonder. Like, what new action do you want to take related to them? Sorry, it's scrolling down. About, so maybe it's about consistent message, ultimately. Maybe there's some clarifying that needs to happen under there. Maybe it is more about networking them. So once you know once you have a sense of what you want to do, step into the shoes of the been there, done that, like succeeded, kicked their butts, ran around the corner version of you. Step into her and think, okay, well, what would she say to me right now? I will tell you, been there, done that, Sarah is brutal. And she was like, girl, you need to focus on the one-on-one conversations, on the new people, on getting people talking to you, because once they do, they really get it. Like, that's a huge deal. Yeah, I think, yep. So, Mel, I'd pick some numbers around connecting. And let's think about it that way. I think that would really help, maybe. Bye-bye, puppy. So, when you inhabit that version of you, that future version, does she look at that and go like, oh, God, it's so painful. Like, why would we do that? Or does she look at it and go like, yep, that's exactly it. And it's okay. She's not perfect either. But if you're not standing in the future possibility, if you're busy thinking like, is that realistic? Is that realistic is the worst question. Like, is the sneakiest ninja fear-based question. Yes, connecting in person is connecting through posting. Yes. But is it reasonable? Somebody the other day was like, well, but I don't know if that's a reasonable goal. Man, wholly reasonable. It's not how we build empires. I will do logical with you. I will do rational. But that doesn't mean you can't push. Let's push. That's how we grow. It's okay if you don't push. Don't bark. But we grow by asking ourselves to do more. And Moon is asking me to do more. I don't know what. Trying to find a toy while we're talking. Okay. So, let us know your goal. Share them. Because here's the thing. When you write it down, you're 40% more likely to get it. When you share it, that number bumps to 70%. 70% more likely when you have somebody you're talking to about it. Okay? You want to amp up your ability to get to your goal, talk to people about it. Talk to us. We're here for you. If you can't figure out what your goal is and you're not sure, let's talk. Hey, I'm going to do 10 one-on-one conversations with people about exactly this month. If you're stuck and you're like, what the hell? I don't know what to do next. This is what I do. Please, let's talk about it. Like, my greatest joy is having people walk away and go like, holy God, I know what's next. Like, that's amazing. Like, it's a magical thing. And maybe you then want to keep working together and maybe you don't, and that's all okay. But let's start a conversation. The best thing that I can do for you as a coach is to give you my time and to help you get clear on where you're going. It takes an hour for us to sit down and go like, oh wait, this is where we're going. It takes an hour. It's not a huge painful thing. I promise I'm just like this one-on-one. Yeah, it's a little scary to get things clear sometimes. And if you're pulling the punch because it's scary, that's not how we grow. We grow by doing the scary thing. It sucks. But it is worth it every time. Imagine what your family thinks when they watch you grow. They think like, holy God, look at her go. That's what you want. So if I can help you do that, and I know I can, because my 10 clients right now are in 10 different businesses doing 10 different amazing things. I can help you, and clarity is kind of my thing. That's what I do with people. So let's talk, reach out, send a message, we'll set up a time. And if you have questions in here about your goal, share them. Please, let's be public. I know it's scary. I shared all my stuff with you. All the dirty laundry comes out here. Earlier in the week, I cried, for heaven's sakes. I don't do that all the time. Thanks for being in here, for being a part of this, for learning and growing and pushing, because this is the stuff that runs the world. When we all run the world, us women, it's going to be a better place. Less crazy, more growth. So, if I can be of service, you know that I'm happy to reach out and we'll connect and get those goals. October, big new month. 1 quarter of the year to go. What do you want to get done? All right. I will talk to you all soon, hopefully. I can't wait to connect. And you know how to find me.